experts and your continuous support and active engagement are the driving forces behind the success of AGROVISION 2.0. So, with great excitement and anticipation, let us begin today's session with an open mind, a spirit of curiosity, a commitment to learning. I encourage everyone to actively participate, interact with our experts, and make the most of this valuable opportunity. Once again, a very warm welcome to all of you. I wish everyone a productive, insightful, and inspiring day 7 of AgroVision 2.0. Thank you, and let us proceed with today's program. It is my great privilege to introduce our esteemed guest of honor, Dr. Danda Raji Reddy, the Honorable Vice Chancellor of Sri Konda Lakshman Telangana State Horticulture University. Born in Kunaram village of Pedapalli district, Telangana, Dr. Reddy earned his PhD in agrometeorology from Gujarat Agriculture University, Anand in 1992. With more than 3 decades of distinguished experience in teaching, research, extension, and academic administration, he has made remarkable contribution to the field of agriculture sciences, particularly in agrometeorology and climate resilient agriculture. Throughout his illustrious career, Dr. Reddy has served in several prestigious leadership positions, including Director of the Agroclimate Research Center, Director of Research, and Director of Extension in major agriculture universities such as INGRAU and PGT-SAU. He has also served as a consultant to the World Bank for the Afghanistan Agrometeorological Services Project, reflecting the international recognition for his expertise. On 19 October 2024, he assumed charge as the Vice Chancellor of SKL-TGHU, where he continues to champion innovation, research excellence, student development, and farmer-centric horticulture advancement. Dr. Reddy is widely respected for his vision of integration modern technologies, including artificial intelligence, climate-smart agriculture, and innovation-driven research into the horticulture sector. His commitment to strengthening farmer livelihoods, promoting quality seed systems, encouraging intellectual property creation, and advancing horticultural education has inspired students, researchers, and farming communities alike. We are truly honored to have such a distinguished academician and visionary leader with us today. Sir, on behalf of Just Agriculture Education Group and all the participants of AgroVision 2.0, I extend a very warm welcome to you and express our sincere gratitude for gracing this program with your esteemed presence. Thank you very much, sir, for your enlightening and inspiring address. We are truly grateful for your time, wisdom, and encouragement. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for the nice introduction. So good afternoon to one and all. So distinguished guests, my dear trainees, ladies and gentlemen. First, let me congratulate the organizers for conducting this very important two-day international capacity building training on AI-driven agriculture technology, smart skills, and advanced technologies at this critical juncture when the agriculture is at the crossroads. And as all of you know that the agriculture is facing many challenges. It's not only with respect to the climate change, it is really passing through different crises like labor shortage, like price fluctuations in the market, and global implications, which is really impacting the agriculture of not only our country, but across the globe. As you know that in India, we have a problem of labor scarcity and indiscriminate use of pesticides, imbalanced fertilization, and a lot of climate risks which are either associated with the excessive rainfall or temperatures, cyclones, floods, etc., and cold waves. And there's every need to reduce the cost of production at this juncture. Though we are producing very high food production in the country, and if you see around 377 billion tons of food grains and more than that of horticulture produce. And in 50s, we had a problem of scarcity. Now we have a problem of plenty. So now we have to address not with the quantity, we have to look for the quality. So to have a better quality and to utilize the excess production of either agriculture or horticulture, so we need to diverse towards, we have to look for what you call value addition. And to reduce the cost of production, to increase the profitability of the farmers, so we had to go for the precision farming technologies. So now, to address the issue of labor, to address the issue of excessive use of the pesticides, imbalance of fertilization, so we had to use the tools like artificial intelligence, machine learning, blockchain technologies, and deep learning, and all these latest innovations which we had to really look for. So then only agriculture becomes the profitable. So otherwise we can't do just like what we used to do about 15, 20 years back. Now we have to address the precision farming technologies to address this, to actually look for precision farming technologies. So these tools are to be addressed, are to be utilized, like drones, robotics. So we can't afford to use the resources what we used to do. So whatever the plant requires, whether it is the water, whether it is the fertilizer, whether it is the pesticide. So we had to give whatever the plant needs. So to address that, these technologies, these tools are very important. And to address the issue of labor, so drones, so which actually to address even excessive use of the pesticides, drone technology is playing a major role. It is going to play a major role. And robots, so to address the labor issue and also to really look for the best possible harvest of the crops, best possible field operations in the field. So the robotics play a major role. And you can't just put whatever you like water. So water has become a resource commodity in the context of the climate change. Now, this year, we are passing through a very critical seasonal condition, which we are going to face. Already, we are feeling the brunt of this particular climate change, and which is really going to play havoc with the Indian agriculture this year due to El Nino, and also now it is going to really, now we are going to see it as a super El Nino because the temperatures in the Pacific is going to be more than 2 degrees normal. So to these things, to address actually, and also the pest and disease forewarning systems. So pest and disease forewarning systems, particularly the climate risk management strategies. For example, if you have limited irrigation, so you have a different crops, and also to plan for better crop planning also, these technologies, these tools are necessary. So first we have to address the resource characterization. So then what actually, where we can grow what, and accordingly we had to go for efficient cropping zones, and based on that we had to plan our cropping programs, and we had to plant the crop. Now we have to use all these technologies. And market is another important dynamic problem actually, which is really a lot of fluctuations are taking place in the markets, and these markets are to be really made available. The marketing, particularly the prices, are to be made available around the clock to the farming community. And also online trading is not going to be, it is going to be the order of the day. Now, otherwise, you cannot just move and you cannot just play with the kind of the markets that are really presently working in the system. So, like this, we have to see, and also the so precision irrigation, whether it is the micro irrigation, so sprinkler, particular micro drip or my what you call sprinkler, and also the fertigation techniques. So you can't put whatever you like. So you had to use the fertigation technology and to address the weed problem. So you should also have the what you call mulches. So like this, these technologies, which are actually predominantly now we have to have a data. So for to to have a better what you call better use of these what you call tools, and you can't just go away with the human power. So human power is equally important. So first, basically, you have to develop you should have the good database. So you can't just put whatever you feel and get the information from the AI tools. But unless and until you have better data, so then only these tools will work. So for that, let us not be complacent. So you have to actually collect the best possible data, and whatever the data you give it to the system, you will get the output. And in the present context, the youngsters, so the smart skills are very important. You can't just go away with whatever you have today. So these youngsters, these young entrepreneurs are to be trained properly. I think this 2 weeks training program is probably all you might have addressed in all these issues are going to address in coming few days, and this will be really a very important training program. And uh, and also another important thing is the residues, pesticide residues, which are to be even for import and export policy. So these blockchain technologies also are going to play a critical role. So these 2 weeks training program are really going to help a lot. And all of you, the trainees, whatever you learn this 2 weeks training program, whatever you learn in this one, will be you please apply at the field level. And if you have anything, please again you come back to your trainers, and so that you'll be able to really benefit from this 2 weeks training program. And we will address the problem of whatever the scarce commodities what we are facing today. We can address the issue of climate change, and also issue of the whatever the climate is. So the climate risk, price risk, and technological risk. You can't. So with these few words, I am thankful to the organizers for giving me an opportunity to address the gathering. Thank you, one and all. Hello, hello,
Mm. Yes,
hello.
sir. Sir, am I audible to you?
Yes. Thank
Yes.
you.
Thank you very much, sir, for your enlightening and inspiring address. So, we are truly grateful for your time, wisdom, and encouragement.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So, sir, on behalf of Just Agriculture Education Group and our family of AgroVision 2.0, I extend our heartfelt thanks for sharing your expertise with us today. Thank you once again, sir, and we wish you good health, happiness, and continued success in your endeavors.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Meanwhile, our next guest will be joining us soon within 5 to 6 minutes. Till then, stay connected. I guess our next guest has also joined us. Can you hear me, sir? Sir, am I audible to you? Okay. So, sir, I'm just starting with your introduction and then we'll start with your session, sir. Now it is my distinct pleasure to introduce our esteemed guest speaker, Dr. Ashok Kumar Sharma, Professor and Head, Department of Horticulture, Govind Pallab, Pant University of Agriculture and Technology, Pantnagar, Uttarakhand. JBPUAT, India's first agriculture university, has played a pioneering role in agriculture education, research, and extension, and the Department of Horticulture has been a cornerstone of excellence in teaching, research, and technology dissemination for more than 60 decades. As the head of one of the country's leading horticulture departments, Dr. Sharma is actively involved in advancing horticultural education, research, and farmer oriented technologies. Under the university's mandate, the department focuses on enhancing productivity, promoting sustainable horticultural practices, strengthening academic excellence, and developing innovative solutions for the horticulture sector. Through his academic leadership and professional contributions, Dr. Sharma has been guiding students, researchers, and stakeholders towards the growth and modernization of horticulture. Today, we are privileged to have Dr. Sharma with us to share his valuable insights and experiences. I'm confident that his expertise and perspectives will greatly benefit all participants of AgroVision 2.0. So, on behalf of Just Agriculture Education Group, I extend a very warm welcome to you, sir, and sincerely thank you for joining us today. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you for the uh, personal information about me and my university. I'm just sharing the slides. And today I am sharing my experiences on the regenerative agriculture, which is new in today's concern. And so far as the agriculture is concerned over there, and agriculture becoming a day by day important discipline, especially after the Kyoto Protocol, wherein the role of carbon is becoming very serious in agriculture commodity. And nowadays, as far as the agriculture is concerned, we are at one place wherein the revival and change in agriculture and agriculture practices is very important for developing a new system or to contribute in our GDP growth over there, and new technologies, new era wherein we will be in a position that to feed the 130, I will say the billion population in India here. And nowadays, And now I will be sharing my experience on regenerative agriculture and agriculture practices. And there is one old saying over there that if the more of carbon is entering in the soil, naturally that our children will adopt the agriculture as their profession. But nowadays, with the global warming or with the climatic changes, more of carbon is evolving in the environment, and that is becoming a serious issue for global warming aspect and changing the practices, agriculture practices, and uh, and lately it is becoming serious issue for the continuation of sustainable agriculture in Indian condition. Nowadays, that our policy is there, wherein that we want to trap more of carbon than leaving into the atmosphere. That is our mandate. And moreover, this presentation is focusing on the carbon credit role that is being nowadays being played a serious role over there. And in Punjab and Haryana now, the carbon credit in agriculture part that is going to start over there now. And over a period of time, this become a serious or this will become a practice for the farmer, but so as to acquainted with the practices of this regenerative agriculture, farmer will be in a position to share, or they will be fully equipped with the knowledge how these the new practices will be helpful for them to increase their income and change their agriculture practice. That is there. That is one thing. And am I audible over there, please? Hello? Am I
Yes, sir, you are
audible?
audible.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
sir, you're
sure, sure,
audible.
sure. Okay, okay. Um, yeah. Next, page. Put it on. Great. Now, next, please. And then nowadays we thinking of, I'm hardcore agriculturist, and that's why I'm just giving a few example over there. And nowadays the system which built our soil, nowadays that we know that the I will say the resources that we are getting in today's context is that from our forefathers. Now the question is whether we are giving those resources as such to our next generation. That is an issue. The soil which we have today, that is nowadays is a source of serious nutrient, and that is a substrate for growing different type of crops. That is there. That are we sharing those soil to other our next generation over there? That is the issue. And now the regenerative agriculture, sustainable agriculture, regenerative agriculture, these are some of the more or less the same definition. I'm just now this adding, we are sharing this regenerative agriculture, we are relating it with the, I will say that the carbon farming. In nutshell, that if you go the definition of regenerative agriculture, it means that do no harm, no harm. Do no harm. That is a simple line definition of regenerative agriculture. Because I am propounder of this, I will say that I generally advocate for the sustainable agriculture. That is, I will say that that is a need of the hour. In sustainable agriculture, how will the farmer will sustain in today's context? That is there, and there in regenerative agriculture that we generally follow the principle and practices of production. Carbon sequestration is there, and we are enhancing the biodiversity. Otherwise, in crop intensification, our mandate is for the profit maximization. But in regenerative agriculture, that we generally rely upon the carbon sequestration, carbon sequester, and the biodiversity enhancement. That is 2-3 points over there. That is important. And just I'm just sharing the data of the global agriculture land we have with us now. And that is the old studies that our Ranganathan and co-workers, they have gone the studies over in 20 countries. They generally shared one data over there that in our agriculture land sequester is 0.10 carbon per hectare. And in Indian condition, this carbon sequestration rate is even less than the average of 20 countries over there. And we know that this regenerative agriculture is directly related to carbon credit that we are going to follow in the next few years to come over there. That's why that I'm just talking about the carbon sequestration and the carbon credit. And now, where is the problem? Where is the basically problem? We know that the requirement of surplus nutrient for carbon sequestration, that the carbon locking is not infinite. That's there. If we have in a soil more of this NPS, then with the nitrogen, phosphorus, and sulfur, then carbon locking is possible there. But in a soil where there is a deficiency of these nutrients, the carbon locking is not possible. And we are targeting that in our regenerative farming, that carbon locking is essential part. If in our soil, if the carbon 1 ton carbon fixation is getting the price of 30 to 40 dollar per year, the farmer will getting that price. That is the, I will say, the commercial farming, the farmer will do it over there. And moreover, that if we using the soil as a substrate, wherein we do not change the substrate or the level of the soil, the physical property of soil, that's why we will get the more of carbon. And the limiting nutrient supply is there, unable to analyze that I have already explained, and the sensitive to nutrient disturbance is there. In nutshell, that I'm saying, that I mean to say is that this regenerative agriculture is that we are now at the how we can reduce the carbon footprints there. That is the idea over there. Unnecessarily in our troposphere, that with the increase of carbon dioxide, our global warming is there, and this climate change is directly or indirectly related. Now, our idea is that the likewise that we generally say in our natural farming practices, wherein it is generally a cultivation of microorganisms, our soil matter in a soil, we are increasing the soil microflora in the soil, and generally that if we have a more organic carbon in the soil, that our organic matter is directly related to the carbon fixation in soil itself. If organic carbon is more, then our I will say that we are moving the direction wherein the carbon fixation will be easy to do over there, in addition to the sufficient nutrients of nitrogen, phosphorus. In ideal condition, we have in a soil which is best in general, organic matter is 5%, water is 20%. That is ideal condition. But in a way, in a field, we do not get such type of ideal condition for the growth. And now, this regenerative farming, we are relating this farming with the sensor-based agriculture, I would say the precision agriculture, geographical irrigation system. We are putting all this modern technology with the sustainable agriculture. Then our agriculture will be in a way that will be beneficial to the farmers. This type of information that must be the farmers, and now we are training the farmer how this will be useful to them. AI and digital support system, we have different type of, even the DSS system is there. Yeah, UAS is an unarmed area that we are using the drones in the field, and we know that the water security is becoming serious issues, wherein we have to go for those system where the I will say those technologies which has which limits the water surplus in the in a crop, wherein the production target should not reduce, by using these modern technologies that will be helpful in agriculture. This in general, these are the component for ensuring the carbon sequestration. If we are adding 4 component in our regenerative, that is a part and parcel thing. And next is that especially there in regenerative agriculture, the tailor-made composting, developing nutrient-rich compost, these are very essential components. And residue treatment is essential. We know that in order to increase the organic carbon, the residue treatment is very important in a soil. And now we know that in a Deepavali time period, Delhi become a, I will say, the chamber wherein a lot of smoke is available there. Reason being in a Punjab and supporting area, Punjab and I will say that this vicinity of Punjab and Haryana and Punjab, they generally go for the this will the parali ko jalate hain. Then it becomes smoke is over there, and by increasing that smoke temperature as well as that the visibility in Delhi is that becoming very difficult over there. That is there that we are wasting our residue. Our idea is that how we can residue management is essential part of this one. Now the next comes the crop selection, where those crops which are, there are 2 different type of I will say they are I will say the bacteria sensitive, I will say. For example, the microbial fungi is available, which has a synergistic effect with crop and the available microflora. We are we are banking upon those type of relationship wherein the symbiotic relationship is essential, wherein we reduce the dependency of these synthetic fertilizers and those I will say that pesticide in a field itself. And this year, even this the ICR, Indian Council of Agriculture Research, has recently launched a program of this Khet Batao Abhiyan, wherein it's this Kharif season. They have given a plain recommendation that addition of phosphorus in a soil, it should be stopped completely. Stop this year adding any fertilizers, especially phosphatic fertilizer, if any person who has added in the Rabi season the full dose of phosphorus. And second recommendation that nowadays this ICR has given over there, that the fertilizer doses invariably, it generally suggests for a growing a good crop, go for the 50% reduction over there. The two, I will say the great definition, I will say the two recommendation that ICR has given a plain recommendation for the farmers. The idea only is that we are going for the symbiotic relationship, I will say these are organic type of farming. We are moving in that direction wherein the losses of this micronutrient is maximum by using there's a excessive dose of this fertilizer in the field. And we know that nowadays the Indian government is paying more than uh, I will say 3 lakh crores of subsidy in the form of fertilizer to the farmers. For example, that one sack of urea is costing 350 rupees, wherein the Indian government is purchasing this one at a rate of 3,250 rupees. Means that is invariably, I will say that 200 and 500, 2,500 rupees, that additional payment is given by Indian government for the purchase of this urea sack, 145 kilogram of one sack. And nowadays we know that the freight of urea over there, hardly 30 to 35% of nitrogenous fertilizers is available through urea. Rest itself it gone in the atmosphere. The increasing this I will say uh, this type of volatilization through nitrification, the nitrite and nitrate, they become easily with ammonia. They become easily they get emitted into the atmosphere very easily. This increasing the I will say that this global I will say the warm temperature over there. Global warming, they are responsible for the global. This in general the total data, but I will not give in detail about there. And in order to give the data over there, that is in general the soil of Indian condition. Because if we have a more of sandy soil, in those soils the organic carbon is invariably very low. And in Indian condition, I'm just giving the definition wherein which type of soil there will be. Alluvial soil is the highest, wherein the productivity is highest. That is the Indo-Gangetic region. That is there. In a black soil, that is in Maharashtra, that is usually there. And in those soil, the fixation of carbon is very easy over there. The farmer can be the biggest beneficiaries by adopting this technique of this regenerative farming to become a part and parcel of regenerative farming. That is important in the near times to come. And now this how this the Hormuz crisis is related to in today's context over there. That's I'm just giving the data that we are purchasing a bigger amount of these fertilizers from Middle East countries where the Hormuz crisis again a very important issue over there. And these countries, especially Qatar and the Iraq and the Saudi Arabia, we are purchasing a big amount of this fertilizer, maybe urea, DAP, MOP from these countries. And nowadays, there's a problem also there due to war. And moreover, the cost of these fertilizers, we know that this year the Indian government has paid 1.85 lakh crores in a subsidy form, and by the devaluation of dollar, next year this value for the same amount will be 3.25 lakh crores rupees. The Indian government will be giving as a the subsidy to the farmers, and that will be the foreign exchange will be utilized, or our currency. I will say that we will be purchasing in a dollar. That's why that Indian government is nowadays they are discouraging farmers to using this chemical fertilizers. They are interested in maintaining the soil organic carbon and less dependency on these fertilizers, and more on the carbon crediting. These are some of the issues. They are becoming a part and parcel, and our agriculture is now in a transition stage. Thus, farmer must be well familiar with these all technologies which is going on in and around. That's why they become they become beneficiary of the modern technologies. And now this the regenerative, how this is different from our conventional farming. The soil health is there. We are less dependent on the soil. Rather, I will say we are foremost. I will say focus is on maintaining the soil health. Ecosystem function is there. Crop rotation is a component that is very important there. And moreover, in regenerative agriculture, our idea is for the optimization of yield and increasing our income. But where in conventional farming, we generally rely upon the profit maximization, and productivity is the main issue. That is there. But nowadays, we're shifting our focus from the intensification of more crop, less dependency on the monoculture. We are going for the more of diversification. We are using the carbon sequestration over there. That's how that can be useful to us. And this is the important practices. That is the basic line. Now I'm just coming out to the important practices in regenerative. What are the important agriculture practices that is adoptable in our field? That minimizing or avoiding villages, eliminating bare soil. That is important. Whatever the area we do, we cannot leave that area as a waste. Our idea is that it should be covered with any crop over there. That's why it will increase the carbon fixation will be more over there. That's there. And the encouraging plant diversity, plant population, integration of farm and livestock system. That is there. And moreover, if we go for in and around in a village background, if you see there that the cropland is there, grassland is there, forest is there, that is the jungle. I will say the ecosystem that one and all they generally follow over there. The annual cropping, perennial cropping, rebuilding and abundant agriculture land. That is there. But our idea in agriculture practice, moreover in regenerative agriculture, is that we will be using more of area for covering the area for which is available over in and around us. That is the idea. And what are the regenerative practices that are in conservation agriculture? The five main, I will say that practices we generally go for the minimize tillages, minimize soil-based system, foster planting diversity, integrated planting, and the use of synthetic fertilizer. Moreover, we generally use that in a organic crop production, the synthetic fertilizer, they are an organic grassland system, even we do not use this one. And moreover, the more important information, we generally say that the carbon and nitrogen ratio. This is very, very, very important for maintaining the soil health over there. The ratio should be in between 15:1, 30:1. That is it. Otherwise, in our soil, this ratio is a very big. Their proportion is very big. Even maybe sometimes 60:1, sometimes 70:1. That's the main problem in our field. Our soil is sick, becoming sick by these indicator point. We see the indicator how we will improve our soil. And this, in addition to this one, is the carbon nitrogen ratio is given there. Even then, the nitrogen, phosphorus, and potash ratio that must be there is 4:2:1. That has been changed very in a different way. I'm just giving the data of even the Dehradun in Uttarakhand. In Dehradun plain area, the ratio of this nitrogen, phosphorus, and potash is 48:4:1. Means we are using the excessive use of this fertilizers. That is a problem. This imbalanced fertilizer is also a reason wherein that needs to be that is the main issue for making our soil sick, basically. And the core principle that are responsible for there, that the biodiversity is important issue. We encourage more of crops, all type of crop, different type of livestock that must be enough. It's not just like if by chance our Holstein Friesian is giving the lactation period is 300 days, it does not mean or the milk productivity is high that we will go for only the in animal sense. I will say the Holstein Friesian is on. No. In our system, regenerative farming, we will be having the desi breed I will say the holistic. In addition to this holistic feature, we will go for the Saiwal, Sindhi, Gir, Thar Parker. This type of breed will be maintained over there. All type of, even the buffalo must be there. So we encourage biodiversity there. Same is there. The soil health structure. That we generally intend to have more of organic matter addition over there. Crop rotation is component there. Water management practices is there. There should be some component over there, and these are the under the soil crop health management is there. That minimize. We generally go for minimize crop disturbance. It should be there invariably whenever we go for the cultivation practices. The total our cost is very high over there. Our idea is reducing the cost so that profit maximization is there. Our productivity may be low, but profit income must be high. That is the market over there. This is a crop diversity principle over there. We generally increase that. It's not like that. I'm just giving the example of turmeric. It's not a one type of turmeric. There may be so many types. We generally encourage for that. For example, in case of French wheat, we go for diversity, not a one type. So many types over there. And we discourage the use of the synthetic fertilizers, and we generally encourage the natural amenities over there. Microbial diversity, we enhance the microbial diversity over there, and the habitat creation is there. That encourages our friends and for relationship in an agro ecosystem. We generally maintain it so that we generally minimize the use of chemical against these pesticides over here in a soil. Also, that we generally consider the soil as a living entity. That is more important, wherein the microorganisms, the population built of these different microorganisms is highest over there. Maybe bacteria, actinomyces, maybe the fungi or the bacteria, maybe different type or useful bacteria. We increase the population in soil, and the nutrient management is very important there. Adding organic fertilizer over there, soil erosion is minimized over there, so that our soil structure is maintained. The physical property of this one must be maintained over there. These type of practices are important for maintaining the soil health here. And the water conservation technologies. This is a need of the hour. Nowadays, we have a very little or medium water, the fresh water available with us. And nowadays, there are so many cities nowadays, they do not have a fresh water. For example, in case of even the Jakarta, the capital of this one, wherein the water availability in the city is minimized. And then Chennai even, sometimes the water scarcity, fresh water scarcity is there. And there are so many cities are now, the fresh water is not there. And we generally encourage for rainwater harvesting, and cover crop is very important. This is the main mandate of regenerative farming. Is we generally go for cover crops. We do not leave our soil unattended. That is there. And whenever we do any practical practices, the mulching is there. Maybe mulching, live mulching as well as for the dead straw material is also used both form. Even in natural farming, we encourages the living mulch is important there. But in organic farming, we do not encourage, we do not support for the living mulch over there. But nowadays in regenerative farming, we use both types. The carbon sequestration, that is very, very important. Just example of there, that the soil carbon storage, and the agroforestry system and methane reduction. These are the mandate of, I will say, how this carbon storage be maintained over there in the soil, because it will be very useful to us. If you see that one example is over the total carbon root mass and residue that is left over there. One just an example I'm just putting over there, that we have there, that how this carbon sequestration will be useful for our agriculture system. And this is the global warming effect over there. That we nowadays, the carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide, and the CFC, carbon fluorocarbon is there. And okay, that is, I will say this data is there, that pre-industrial level, before the in Indian condition, when maybe the 1950, before 1950, that was a level. Nowadays, that the current level is very high in carbon dioxide, 380 ppm is there, is very high. Even the methane level is very high in the current level there. And if we compare it with the 1750 data, that is very high. The technology is supported. Nowadays, it is very difficult. Nowadays, we can go for the sustain the agriculture practices that need to be supplemented with the modern technology support, precision agriculture, biotechnology, digital farming. Then our agriculture will be beneficial to the farmers, and one have a knowledge of carbon fixation in the soil, that will be useful. And our moreover, this technology support system will be good when we support the marketing system. I'm just giving a slide of this one. This is the IFS slide of Bangalore, wherein that floriculture market, the 1 crore flower is marketed daily basis. Even the 45 or 46 varieties are used. Rose varieties are there. They are seller and buyer meet is there. That is on I will say this is digital marketing. I will say digital marketing system is there, where then Indian condition this best quality of rose is sold in a IFB model in Bangalore city itself. We generally see this type of model, marketing model in every big cities where the farmer can sell their produce. If the marketing is strengthened, naturally it will give lesson, it will the back-ended support for the production side and the community engagement. Nowadays, how we can engage community, and they must be provide information of the regenerative farmings that is useful in a years to come together, where the carbon crediting is becoming an issue for one and all. The farmer cooperatives, the information be provided to the farmer cooperatives, local education programs, consumer engagement, wherein the information be provided for of this regenerative farming of this the community engagement programs. This is I'm just giving the idea over in a soil and organic matter available work where the 1 foot of soil we can find over there the organic matter, how much organic matter is there. Just an idea. Now that is a very important slide over there. This is the important soil lesson biodiversity. They both are related to one another. And in a pH level is 6.5. If we see it over there, that the soil and biodiversity, I'm just giving the idea. This data is of my agriculture, my farm over there of 2 hectare area where I put in organic farming, where the soil, I will say that if we maintain the soil health, biodiversity increases. Not using any chemical in a soil, but diversity itself is maximum in a soil. They are directly related. And how the sustainability score will be there? This is a method that FU has developed over there. If your soil health quality and ecosystem diversity scale, if you put together, that becomes a sustainability score of that is there. And sustainability score, the measurement is there by the biodiversity measure criteria over there. Soil health quality is there. In addition to this one, that will be supplemented with the biodiversity metrics. In total, that will give us the sustainability. Now, in the practices, how they are important is genetic farming, the reduced tillage. Invariably, we generally go for wherein we go for the culture practices in a field. We generally go for that at least before sowing. We generally go for 3 to 4 times harrowing, then 2-3 times is the tilling. At the end, we will go for lastly is the rotavator is there when we think our soil is best. That's the best for sowing condition. Wherein in a total, I will say that 10 to 12,000 rupees is already we spent on this one for maintaining the soil setup. But nowadays in the genetic farming, reduced tillage, minimum tillage is there. If we think that the time of sowing seed rate is fixed, that we do not go for we will go for harrowing. Directly sowing is done. Minimum reducing soil structure is disturbed in a minimum level. The strip tillage is there, cover cropping is crop rotation, no tillage farm, soil testing, they are the important component. And by using these all practices, we generally go for that. If this, moreover, the definition of this regenerative farming is the minimum soil disturbance. And this is a slide over there. The nutrient contribution, soil erosion reduction over there, the nitrogen, phosphorus, potash, calcium, magnesium, sulfur. How the impact cropping is helping in our soil. We cover over there, the soil erosion is minimum by impact. Then this type of graph that we generally found there, where is the erosion control 60, the nutrient percent biodiversity that enhance our crop. That is very helpful. And the crop rotation is there in a way wherein that our biodiversity is that okay. In case of paddy, that we generally go for not one type of. We generally go for different type. In our condition in Uttarakhand, there's so much of genetic diversity in a paddy is there. One area, one place, one village that is known for one type, and maybe in a tribal belt, in a different area, the different type of genotypes, I will say, local land diseases are available over there. They're maintaining it. The nutrient cycling, pest control, and the soil structure and economic benefits. There are some of the points over there that comes in a way I will not explain in detail that everybody know the crop rotation and crop rotation. Now, just the important component over there, the traditional farming system, the integration of livestock in farming system is very, very important. We know that in our system that if we look into the the crop pattern system in a Punjab condition, wherein the farmer are maintaining minimum of livestock, they are going more of the crop, wherein the chemical fertilizer is in a maximum level. But that practice is not a sustainable model. With the integration of the livestock plus farming is a complete system. That is a sustainable model. That will comes in the future to come. That is a regenerative model wherein the carbon credit means we will be sharing. And then at that condition, the carbon fixation or the carbon crediting can be taken of at that condition wherein the both components come together. Not just evaluate, rotate, plan, select, and implement, manage. There are some of the components. They must be there I will say the algorithm of this one, the integrating with the farming system. Both are important components. This is the soil health, water conservation, crop diversity, and community. They are the four components in where we say that what are the benefits, challenges, and the statistics and best practices we can have. These are the in a way the soil health. If we water management is best on there, it improves soil yield. The knowledge is there, status increase in yield over there in a soil, and the water conservation even wherein we minimize the surface runoff, and no doubt the initial cost is very high, but surface runoff is we can get rid of the surface runoff, and that can be done. Even crop diversity is helpful over there, and moreover the information that nowadays we have available with us that must be shared with the community. That is there. The stakeholders must be maximum so that in a particular area where the organic carbon will be increased, that's where that will benefit one and all. These are the some of the data we have now. The annual sequestration over the years that is going on in our farm. I'm just giving the data how this is calculated. Now, the enhancing ecosystem through agriculture. That is our students, BSc students, that I have used their wit for maintaining the how this regenerative farming, this Gantt chart they have prepared. The BSc students they made us. They have given the data over there, the soil health, biodiversity, water management, carbon sequestration, and the community. They have given this. This is in these months. This is a maximum concentration is there. The community science we can do there, and the soil health one has to keep more health of the special Feb, March, and April until April. That is very important, and especially we generally recommend for the summer plowing. That is avoided because summer plowing wherein the carbon losses are maximum. Our idea is to fixing the carbon in the soil by summer plowing. Our whatever the soil organic carbon is there, that will be evaporated. That is there. We generally avoid this type. And community ecology resilience, the sustainable practices, biodiversity support, local market, knowledge sharing, and the financial inclusion and the community engagement. These are some of the components over there. They must be put together in then we can move over there. That one move will be there. The case studies of successful problem faced. What are the solution offers, benefits, and the assess is the over there. The planning is there. The implementing those plans and the monitoring. These are some components how we can go for if we change a village, whole village into a regenerative farming. The basic idea is how we will take the data, the problem, how will what are type of problem they are facing. One has to offer solution for it. And the farmer will be well versed in their benefits and assessing, make plan for them, implement, and lastly the monitoring those. And if we measuring the success of regenerative farming, that are three components over there. What is the soil status? How much diversity is there? What is the water storage conservation they are doing? How the carbon sequestration? These are the health indicators. These are the health indicators. And moreover, and these are second the in a case of, I have given the productivity and resource usages. The productivity is directly, I will say, the inversely related to the resources that we know that is a general practice that we get the same type of response in a farm. So if our productivity is increasing, the resources usages that will be, if we use more resources, the productivity increases. They are inversely related. Now how these tools and technologies they are supporting irrigation. It is a leaf color chart that is very useful. In agriculture farming, we do not use much of this machine uses, using all the technologies wherein the economic, I will say that returns are maximum enough. The policy framework and supporting the funding, education, regulation. The students, one has to give the agriculture education. They must be propounding that okay, the regenerative farming, how does it will help in future to come, how the carbon crediting in agriculture will be beneficial for them. This type of education program that needs to be strengthened, and the funding from the foreign resources of Indian countries in order to make it sustainable, or that information be disseminated to the actual stakeholders. Now, education training is there. Now there are three components how this will be joining over there. For example, one person is there, is the PI, field specialist, extension worker is there, and the data analyst is there. One horticulture is farmer is there. That when we these all type of stakeholders they are in one place, then we can address the problem and suggest remedial measures to get rid of their problem and give them, I will say, the different type of advisory which will help. And now how this rigidity agriculture network, how it is made, the flow chart, the starting, connecting, yes or no, then and this is in general the network over there. And what are the challenging transition? And moreover, that everyone is going for the conventional farming, and what are the drawbacks over there, and how we can change a person from conventional farming to regenerative farming system. Naturally, that knowledge is there. Knowledge is important. How this knowledge be imparted to the stakeholders, they will be actually taken on this one. How they will change themselves, that is important for them. And moreover, the farmer has a they are reluctant to change their mindset. That is always there. Skeptic. They do not know the long-term benefits. One has to realize the long-term benefit, how this type of agriculture practices, special regenerative farming that will be useful to them, how that the way they switch over to the regenerative farming, the carbon crediting benefits, they will be the owner, or they will be the users, or they will be beneficiaries of this carbon credit farming. And the future trend is vision and goal that must be there. And our idea is to 25% increase in regenerative farm adoption rates. That is by 2030. That is our goal. Not very high, but minimum 25% increase. We are changing the farming to the 25% level, not more than this one, because farmers are not less affinity to change. It needs to be, I will say that mindset to be changed over a period of time. Then that is the goal over there. Our mission is clear that educating farmers, stakeholders, and the idea, providing idea to them, how soil health will be improved, and how this in order to mitigate the climatic changes, how these resilient crops, varieties and types be used in their cropping system. They are the missions that is there. We know that in near future to come, the water scarcity is there. We need to go for those crops which require less water, and the available water that must be utilized in a very efficient way by using the drip system, so that must be, I will say, augmented in the cropping system. The knowledge as well as the practices that that's where the change will be there. And the feedbacks. If once they have been given the information, farmers start adopting. Now that idea is that the feedback from practice that needs to. The information is not one way; that must be two way rather. Whatever we have given to them, then there should be I will say feedback from their side. if the one farmer is saying the principle of genetic farming transfer my agriculture practices, one farmer can say that I have not seen positive change. Maybe anything we can say. Then their problem be addressed properly, and what the problem one has to go in detail, the where the mistake or where this type of problem arises, and accordingly those problems that needs to be addressed at a place wherein the farmer must be fully, they must be satisfied. The ethically considered it. There are some plus and minus there. It is there. We generally say that in the initial cost is very high. Learning curve, I will say the affinity of farmer in order to learn the new things is very slow. Market limitation is there. It is about time consuming. That is there. There are some points over there that must be there. And no doubt the theoretical it is okay, but in order to put in practical shape, it will take time. And moreover, we need a farmer that must be, I will say, the educated farmer must be there in agriculture nowadays. It's not like that everyone will be a farmer. This type of information, those farmers, those who are well versed with the agriculture techniques, they are following those techniques, and what's the new over there. And even though the SWOT analysis for the sustainability climate change mitigation, that genetic agriculture, that is the idea is improving soil health, enhance the crop system, and using the resilient crops, and that is there. And this approach is there wherein the carbon dioxide is captured in the soil itself. That is very, very, very important. The strength is there, we can do it. That can be done. And but there's on the phasic manner that is there. And weakness is there. Okay, there are so many weaknesses there. Awareness among the farmer that needs to be appended accordingly, and opportunities are lot of opportunities there, and threats is there again in a condition that climate change itself is posing a lot of problem to one and all, and our the global warming is there, and next years to come, even sometime the sea level will be increased, maybe in a few years to come, that many countries will not be in a globe, that will vanish over there in a Mumbai also. Maybe in a few years to come, that half of Mumbai that may be submerged in water. And are some of the threats over there that needs to be addressed over there. And by trapping this excessive carbon dioxide is the only solution wherein we can mitigate these changes. Challenging and solutions. The economic barriers, the knowledge gap is there, market access. Market is more important. The foremost component wherein this is directly related to the welfare of the farmers. If the farmer is getting a good price in one place, then adoption of technology, adoption of this technique become very easy for them. And marketing issues, very ticklish issue. You cannot suggest everyone that we should go this crop and that will be sold in a market. We do not know the market structure. One day the cost, that the farmer will get a good price. The second day, maybe their produce may get a throwaway prices. That is very difficult for them to sustain their markets surplus. And we know that future prospectus is there. Nowadays, the sustainable model that needs to be integrated with the, I will say that the sensor-based technologies is we need to with the modern technologies so as to become a sustainable over there by using friendly platform, the international trade, wherein our produce is up to that level. Those certification agencies be involved, especially for the marketing part, wherein the total standard of their production be equate with the European market, so that our produce be sell over there. These are some of the points over there that needs to be addressed, and a well-educated and practical farmer can be a greater beneficiary by using this technology and this regenerative farm. And our idea in a nutshell is that nurturing nature with a system synergies. That is the idea of regenerative farming, no tillage, minimum carbon loss, cover crop, maximum carbon, that is the carbon management. In a way, the carbon management is the base of sustainability. That is the idea of regenerative. And the conclusion is that now the understanding the sixth principle, the core principle of there, that is the adopting these practices, engaging communities, monitoring progress, investing in training, so there's a technical know-how where this is useful to them, and the promotion and promoting awareness, that is very, very important for one and all. In that condition that we have, the adoption practices will be high, the farmers will well versed the new technologies, and ultimately that will benefit the farmer, one and all. And this is in the last, I will say, it's a land sparing and land sharing approaches there. And this the conservation agriculture, by using this, reducing this our production cost by adding organic amendments and fertilizer, not receiving much fertilizer over there, reducing the dependency on the chemical fertilizer and pesticides, and we need to strengthen our agroforestry system for the food production. These are 5 to 6 principles that in a nutshell has to supplement over there so as to make the system sustainable and useful to one end. This is thank you very much. What is there? Thank you one and all.
And thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. This is all. Yeah, is there any query from any side that I will be thankful? Otherwise, I share my number with you that you can send your queries over there. Thank you.
Sir, I'll just do one thing. I'll enable the chat box, and if anyone wants to ask you some questions, they can drop it in that, and then you can answer accordingly.
Please, I have given you my number. You can. I will check personally even them, and I think because you have postponed my lecture from 5 to 4, then I have to go somewhere else. If any question from any side, I will be happy to. I will be in a good mood. I will share my experience with them. You can share my number. They can send their queries to my number. Then I will be.
Okay, sir.
Thank you very much.
Okay, sir. So thank you very much, sir, for your highly informative and inspiring presentation. Your valuable insights, rich academic experience, and practical perspectives have provided our participants with a deeper understanding of the subject and its significance in the present agriculture scenario. So we sincerely appreciate your time and efforts you have taken to share your knowledge with us today. Your guidance and expertise will undoubtedly motivate students, researchers, and professionals to pursue excellence in the field of horticulture and agriculture science. So, sir, on behalf of Just Agriculture Education Group and our AgroVision 2.0 family, I thanks a lot to you, and we wish you continued success, good health, and many more achievement in the years ahead. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Neha ma'am. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
We would like to inform you that our next esteemed guest is currently occupied with an important meeting and therefore will not be able to join us today. The session has been rescheduled and the speaker will be joining us tomorrow to deliver the session. We sincerely appreciate your patience and understanding. Thank you for your continued support and cooperation.